Have you ever wondered why rejection can sting so deeply? Yet some women seem to grow stronger and more confident whenever it happens. What if rejection is not a setback, but the secret ingredient to unlocking unstoppable resilience? In this video, we'll discover how to transform rejection into your greatest advantage and quietly forge an inner power that no one can take away. Use rejection to build confidence. Stoic Growth Secret, compiled and published by Stoic Blue. Lesson 1. Redefining rejection as inner growth. Imagine yourself as a lone traveler walking the silent road before dawn. The chilly air pressing in and shadows gathering on every side. Each step forward is unseen and uncertain. The world is stripped down to pure stillness and the echo of your own heartbeat. In the darkness, every sound stands out sharply. Every movement is laden with meaning. For many, rejection is that cold, empty stretch of road. It's the withheld invitation, the closed door, the lingering silence after you've shared a part of yourself and waited for acknowledgement that never comes. The sting, sharp as frost, threatens to wrap around your spirit and freeze you in place, whispering doubts about your worth and belonging. Who hasn't felt that ache? Who hasn't wondered, even for a moment, whether emotional mastery is possible when turned away? Deep inside, emotional rejection touches wounds most try to keep hidden. You feel the impact in your chest. The aftertaste of shame invites you into a spiral of overthinking, and self-doubt presses against your resilience like a persistent wind eroding the patient stone of your self-image. You become obsessed with the applause of others, the nods of colleagues, the affectionate words of loved ones. The world's opinion becomes the compass by which you navigate the open seas of your life. But here's the paradox. No vessel guided only by uncertain tides and tempests survives the storm. You may lose yourself utterly in pursuit of approval that shifts like clouds, always beyond your reach. This is the battle faced by every mind determined to train itself in emotional mastery. The temptation to equate outside validation with inner value, to measure the soul on a shifting scale. Rejection hurts most when it is seen as a final judgment, a sign you do not belong, or worse, are deficient at your core. Many deep thinkers spend years wrestling in the silent corners of late-night doubts, wondering how to move from wounded to whole, from knocked down to unshakably upright. The pain is real, and so are the walls it builds if not handled with deliberate awareness. The question burns. Is there a way to receive rejection but not be destroyed, to transform the cold denial into warmth for the self and power for the soul? What if there is a discipline to rejection, a hidden grace living only in silence, reserved for those who stand and face it with open eyes rather than running from its bite? Imagine the discerning archer who, in the quiet of early morning, draws her bow not at easy, obvious targets, but at the ones hidden in shadow, requiring patience and unwavering purpose to hit their mark. The solution begins not with denial of the pain, but with a transformation of perspective, taking that cold wind and using it to stoke an inner fire. In Stoic tradition, every outward setback holds an inward opportunity. Rejection, stripped of its sting, becomes feedback for the refinement of character. You are not cast aside. You have been shown the curve of your growth. The world's closed doors are simply invitations to build something strong within, a chance to develop a calm independence that needs no validation to be assured. In this shift, you root your emotional world deep beneath the surface, where storms cannot reach. Instead of fearing the pain of rejection, you expect it. Welcome it even, as a necessary challenge to your discipline, a silent foe that makes you sharper, a test that makes you braver. This perspective ripens with practice, nourishing the will like rain soaks fallow fields. You become a ship passing steadily over silent seas, unmoved by turbulent waves or storm warnings, guided not by the whims of outsiders, but by your own crafted compass. This inner strength makes you both attractive and undefeatable, not because you have never failed, but because every moment of rejection forged you a bit steadier, a bit kinder, a bit wiser. When you redefine rejection as an invitation to inner growth, you shift from being battered by the winds of fate to commanding them towards purpose. With each wave you meet, Your stillness grows deeper, your confidence more profound, and your future more luminous, burning like the quiet fire within the disciplined soul. To practice redefining rejection, notice the next time you feel dismissed or overlooked. Pause and breathe deeply, reminding yourself that every no is simply a lesson, not a verdict. Let this moment teach you about your own needs and desires rather than your worth. Journal your reflections. Gradually, you will notice greater calm and strength. By applying this approach, you'll become less shaken by others and more secure in your path, and your emotional core will harden into quiet self-assurance. Embrace each rejection as silent training, a forge that shapes resilience and clears the fog of self-doubt. Your path to mastering emotional control has only begun. In the next lesson, we explore how to let go of approval cravings and step deeper into genuine self-possession. Stay tuned, share your thoughts below, subscribe for more insights, and let us know which moment of transformation resonated with you most. Lesson 2. Letting go of approval cravings. Picture the mind as a lantern, glowing brightly in the middle of a serene, moonlit field. With each step you take, the path before you reveals itself gently, but the surroundings remain shrouded in quiet night. Walking this path feels peaceful, until you notice distant figures standing on the edges of the darkness, eyes fixed on your every move, passing silent judgment. Suddenly, your lantern, once burning for your own clarity, begins to falter. You shift your light toward the figures, desperately hoping they will approve of your direction. In trying to capture their nods and smiles, your own path fades into shadows. This is the invisible battle so many face, the delicate conflict between staying true to your course and surrendering your sense of self to those standing just outside the reach of your lantern's glow. Every wandering heart has felt the ache of seeking approval. Even the strongest can find themselves haunted by the need for someone else's validation, like the archer who doubts her aim if the crowd remains silent, or the captain whose compass spins wildly when no one cheers for her journey. The craving for affirmation disguises itself as a guide when, in truth, it quietly binds you in invisible chains. These chains are cunning. They're forged from childhood hopes, culture's echoing demands, and everyday encounters where acceptance feels just out of reach. You may say something, post online, or share your authentic self in a conversation, only to wait anxiously for likes, replies, or gentle words. The silence, or worse, a dismissive response, can feel crushing, as if everything you are begins and ends with other people's reactions. The heart beats faster for approval, and every ignored message or missed recognition becomes a shadow across your light. This craving isn't just uncomfortable, it's exhausting. When you hinge your peace on approval, you become like a ship bobbing helplessly on unpredictable stormy seas. Self-worth begins to erode, out of control and adrift, as your personal value gets traded for fleeting validation. Each decision becomes haunted by, what will they think? And creativity is stifled under fear of being misunderstood or ignored. It is as if your own potential, your natural resilience, your silent discipline, your undying spark, remains locked behind a foggy mirror, visible only when others wipe the glass clean. The impact is subtle but immense, quietly draining your power, leaving you undecided and apologetic instead of being strong, centered, and bold. But there is another way, one that breathes freedom into your spirit and unlocks presence in every moment. The Stoics taught that approval is a guest, not a master. Letting go of approval cravings means reclaiming your mind as your refuge, steering your lantern back to your own feet so your path is guided by your values, not by the uncertain signals of others. The solution is radical, yet gentle. Develop the inner skill of self-approval by catching yourself in those moments when you reach for another's blessing and turning the question inward. Instead of, was I good enough for them? Calmly reflect, am I honoring my own standards? Did I act with integrity, kindness, and courage? Over time, this repeated practice forges your soul like the steady hands of a blacksmith, turning longing into quiet confidence. As you nurture this independence from approval, a remarkable thing happens. Emotional turmoil subsides, and you gain true mastery over your feelings. The world's opinions swirl around you like leaves in a windstorm, but your lantern, burning from the inside out, cannot be dimmed by anyone's silence or skepticism. This new self-leadership is neither hard nor cold. It is the silent, steady heat of a disciplined heart. Attractive in its calm, undefeated in its resolve, and ever open to honest reflection. Unclouded by fear, you become more authentic, allowing the fullness of your spirit to show without needing applause. It requires daily focus and a willingness to gently discipline the wandering parts of yourself, but the benefit is immense. An emotional steadiness that cannot be bought or borrowed, and a deep sense of personal freedom that radiates outwards, attracting others with its quiet certainty. When approval is no longer your fuel, you are finally free to master emotion, make an impact, and shape life from a place of undefeated, unshakable strength. Whenever you notice a craving for approval, pause and ask yourself if your actions align with your true values rather than external praise. Practice affirming your own efforts in small, daily ways. As you do this, you'll find confidence blooming quietly within, free from the tides of outside opinion. Next, we'll explore how to ground your self-worth in virtue, deepening your emotional mastery. Share your thoughts below, subscribe for more insights, and let us know how you're practicing self-approval so our community can grow stronger together. Lesson 3. Grounding self-worth in virtue. Imagine standing in a vast open field beneath an ancient sky streaked with gold and deep blue. The wind moves through the tall grass, but at your feet there is one stone that does not shift, even as the air grows wild. This stone, unmoving, steady, and quiet, offers a truth that endures through any storm. Our journey within often calls us to become like that stone, anchoring ourselves not in the fleeting weather of others' opinions or circumstance, but in something more profound and lasting. The question is, what can anchor us when so much in life seems fragile or uncertain? Where do we rest the weight of our self-worth so it is not easily lifted, tossed, or broken? For countless people, self-worth is measured against the shifting tides of success and failure. Praise raises us high for a moment, only for criticism or silence to send us crashing down. In daily life, it's easy to tie your value to outcomes, to how you perform at work, to the amount of recognition or love you receive. Every accomplishment becomes a brick in a house that feels solid, until one rejection or mistake brings everything down in a noisy collapse. We cling to the idea that if we just achieve more, prove more, appear better, we will feel truly safe in ourselves. Yet, this pursuit can leave even the most driven souls feeling empty, perpetually searching for a kind of enough that seems forever out of reach. The inner conflict deepens each time your worth is challenged by a difficult conversation, a missed promotion, a failed goal, or a hurtful remark. Such struggles can feel never-ending, a relentless storm in the mind that turns daily living into a test, and our identity into something we are forced to negotiate over and over again. This emotional instability is exhausting. Instead of feeling rooted in confidence, we live like travelers lost on a sea at night, scanning the horizon for any sign of solid land. In this shifting landscape, stress mounts, fear grows, and our sense of self is battered by constant comparison to others or to impossible standards. The Stoic soul knows, however, that lasting strength and dignity cannot take root in things which the world may give or take away. We need something more powerful, something unbreakable, something steady beneath the waves. The ancient Stoics taught that the only truly secure foundation for self-worth is virtue, the simple and profound practice of living with integrity, wisdom, and courage regardless of external outcomes. Virtue is the unwavering stone beneath your feet when everything else changes. Rooting your self-worth in virtue means asking not, did I win or did they like me? But rather, did I act bravely, kindly, and with discipline today? It is in making these questions your guide that you unlock a new kind of emotional control. Each day offers countless hidden chances to embody patience rather than react with anger, to act honestly when deception might be easier, or to move forward with resilience after setbacks. Virtue as a foundation feels at first both simple and radical. You no longer have to prove yourself worthy in the eyes of every observer or random circumstance. You train your mind to value growth over perfection, to honor progress instead of applause, to measure yourself not by fleeting results, but by your dedication to your highest principles. Like an archer who finds fulfillment not in the target's applause, but in the quiet discipline of drawing the bow with unwavering intention, you reclaim your power from the world around you. This is not a cold withdrawal from life, but an embracing of its highest possible version. The place where your spirit attracts others through silent authenticity and unshakable inner peace. With practice, this focus on virtue transforms setbacks into lessons and judgment into background noise, unlocking the deep, undefeated confidence that comes only from within. You learn to meet fear with steady courage and setbacks with wisdom, each moment sharpening your soul into something both beautifully human and quietly indestructible. Grounding your self-worth in virtue does not take away life's storms. Instead, it gives you a light by which to steer and a strength that, like that ancient unmovable stone, endures all seasons. Each day, reflect on your actions and gently ask if they were guided by honesty, courage, and kindness, your true virtues. Focusing here, you'll notice your calm and inner power growing steadily, regardless of outside noise. Start this new habit now. Journal or ponder nightly. Next, discover how to turn criticism into calm clarity. Remember to comment and subscribe to stay inspired with our community. Lesson 4. Turning criticism into calm clarity. Picture yourself as a mountain at daybreak, the first rays of sunlight striking your calm, unwavering slopes. Winds sweep around you carrying echoes of distant voices, some gentle, some biting, some sharp as ice. These winds are the criticisms, judgments, and opinions of others, invisible currents flowing through every interaction, relationship, workplace, or online space. The mountain does not tremble at the storm's arrival. It remains still, a silent observer, unmoved by shadows or clouds. For so many of us, however, criticism does not simply rush by like passing wind. Instead, it pierces deeply, stirring old doubts or awakening sudden frustration, and we lose ourselves temporarily in its turbulence. The desire to remain calm and clear may be strong, yet the force of a single careless word can scatter our confidence like leaves before the gust. There is a special torment that follows being misunderstood, misjudged, or critiqued, especially when we strive to do good, act with passion, or reach for more. Internally, a quiet voice starts narrating stories about inadequacy, replaying exchanges or comments in endless loops. Why did they say that? Am I really failing? Did I do something wrong? Even well-meaning advice can cut sharply when our hearts and minds are vulnerable. Perhaps you too have felt the knot in your stomach after receiving negative feedback, or the flushing of the cheeks when someone's words dismissed an effort close to your heart. It can seem as if there's nowhere to hide from this discomfort, and so over time, some choose to retreat, hiding their real selves or silencing authentic expression, hoping the winds will grow quieter. Yet, even silence cannot stop the world's opinion, and avoidance brings only temporary relief. The heart of the challenge lies not in avoiding criticism, but in how we receive and respond to it. Most of us react reflexively before we even realize, jumping to defend, to argue, or to prove our value anew. We take on criticism like a burden to be carried, or a battle to be fought. The mind begins to churn, working overtime to make sense of what was said, sometimes reshaping the entire day or self-image around someone else's sharp winds. There is a deep longing for peace within this emotional storm, a wish to be like the tranquil mountain, steady, unaffected, perhaps even grateful for what the wind can reveal. How do you transform the pain of criticism into an opportunity for stronger emotion, deeper clarity, and personal growth? The answer is to shift criticism from being a personal attack to a tool, one that can be used for sharpening rather than wounding. When you learn to filter each comment through your chosen values, as a sailor chooses which winds to harness and which to let pass, you regain your power. Critique, when met with poise, becomes feedback, not a verdict on your worth, but raw information for your mind and spirit to process. Imagine this discipline as the art of the silent Stoic archer, adjusting her aim with calm resolve after each missed mark, seeing every comment not as failure, but as guidance for the next shot. The ancient wisdom lies in creating space between what happens and how you choose to respond within. If you can slow your breath, observe your emotional reaction, and then ask, is this useful? Is there truth here, or a hidden opportunity for growth? You step outside the cycle of hurt and defense. This simple pause is powerful. It transforms initial pain into clarity, making room for self-mastery to bloom. Over time, you gain an almost undefeatable calm under scrutiny. You are not easily shaken by the world's opinions. With each encounter, you grow just a bit stronger, your mind more discerning, your spirit quietly burning. By approaching criticism this way, every storm becomes fuel for your clarity, not a force to drive you from your course. When criticism appears, pause and breathe before reacting, then ask which parts offer truth or value and let the rest pass by. Practicing this each day, you will build clarity and inner calm, transforming stressful feedback into wisdom. Next, we'll tackle facing fear with daily exposure. Subscribe, comment your experiences, and let's keep growing stronger together. Lesson 5. Facing fear with daily exposure. Picture the wild heart pounding like a distant drum at the edge of dawn. Imagine standing at the threshold between light and dark, breath visible in the cold morning air, sensing the invisible wall between your present comfort and the vast field of unknowns just beyond. Fear, in these moments, gathers itself like heavy fog, thick, chilling, and persistent, clinging to skin and mind. It feels as if each step into this fog means surrendering certainty, and yet, if you look closely, you see that the bravest souls do not run from the mist. They advance with steadfast intention, each step parting the gloom, making the next step just a little clearer. The heart races, the mind weaves warnings, but courage, like the steady pulse of sunrise, gradually overtakes the night. For nearly everyone, fear is an intimate companion. It whispers before new conversations, trembles the hands when sharing a bold idea, flares in the chest at the thought of failure or judgment. Fear wears 1,000 faces. Public speaking, confronting a superior, risking vulnerability, changing careers, or simply expressing an unpopular opinion. It feels personal, unique, and overwhelming, convincing us that peace is found only in avoidance, that safety means remaining always in the shelter of what's familiar. Over time, the walls grow thicker. Doors you could once imagine opening seem sealed by anxiety or self-doubt. You hold back words, shrink dreams, and sidestep difficult moments, all to quiet the persistent pounding at the door of comfort. Yet every silent choice to avoid fear's edge builds a secret prison. Life grows smaller as you tiptoe around discomfort, and the spirit learns always to contract rather than to expand. Avoiding fear promises relief, but it drains the color from experience. Instead of mastering your emotions, you find yourself shadowed by them, letting fear dictate your limits, and this, over time, stifles spirit, ambition, and even the possibility of joy. In the context of building emotional mastery, few chains are as strong or as invisible as the impulse to avoid what unsettles or frightens us. But there is a way forward. The Stoic solution to fear, the approach of those who seek disciplined strength, is not to banish it overnight, but to meet it in small, measured doses each day. This is the art of daily exposure, deliberately and gently facing those things that trigger anxiety or hesitation in order to grow our tolerance and discover their power fading. Imagine a ship navigating unknown waters before sunrise. The captain does not wait for perfect conditions, but plots a forward course, trusting her ability to adjust with every swell and breeze. Each exposure, however minor, is like a lesson in piloting through uncertainty. The seas become less daunting, the voyage more familiar. Daily exposure is not reckless. It is methodical and grounded by self-respect. The first task is to identify one realm, no matter how minor, where fear lingers. It might be speaking your thought in a meeting, making eye contact with strangers, or initiating a difficult conversation. Gently and repeatedly approach this discomfort, just a single brave step at a time. The mind, once frantic, begins to quiet under repeated practice. Over days and weeks, each encounter with fear chips away at its mystery, transforming overwhelm into curiosity. Each small act teaches you that emotional storms won't shatter you. In fact, they pass swiftly when met directly. The benefits reveal themselves day by day. greater confidence, a more expansive spirit, and a self-image that centers not on escape, but on the unstoppable willingness to move forward, even in uncertainty. As this habit grows, fear loses its grip. It changes from a tyrant to a teacher, from a wall to a gateway, each exposure unlocking new potential. This lesson, facing fear daily, reflects the ancient truth that courage is not the absence of fear, but movement in spite of it. Like the steadfast archer drawing her bow into the morning fog, confident the sun will soon rise to reveal her mark. In embracing this challenge, you claim a victory the world may never see, but you will feel a quiet, steady transformation from avoidance to awakening, mastering your emotions with every step you take into the light. Start today by choosing one small fear to face intentionally, even if it's just a single step outside your comfort zone. With each repetition, you'll notice tension easing, your courage growing, and your world expanding. Embrace this daily exposure and celebrate small victories. Up next, we'll discover the power of building unshakable confidence in silence. Share your progress and subscribe to stay inspired. Lesson 6. Building unshakable confidence in silence. Envision a candle burning steadily in the darkest cathedral, its flame unmoved by the emptiness and echo that surround it. This is silent power, simple, quiet, undeniable. The world may be swirling outside with competing voices and rushing demands, but in the midst of the hush, the candle's steady glow communicates strength far more lasting than any thundering declaration. There is a profound allure in this silent confidence, a magnetism born not from loud words or outward displays, but from the assurance that radiates within and changes everything it touches. Many of us, however, have been conditioned to believe that confidence must be loud, visible, and approved by others to be real. We may feel lost in the sea of voices, measuring our worth and presence by the volume of our self-promotion, thinking that to be valued, we must first be noticed. This belief creates a quiet battle within. It's the discomfort you feel entering a vibrant room where others boast about achievements, where lively conversations swirl around career moves, personal milestones, and bold personalities. You shrink from the spotlight, heart pounding, inner voice whispering that your subtlety is a weakness and your best qualities are hidden away. Even digital life amplifies the message. More likes, more attention, more noise equals more value. This relentless chase for recognition pulls you further from your core, leading you to over-explain, overshare, or anxiously plan your words before every interaction. In a world where extroversion is celebrated, it's easy to feel that quiet strength is invisible, ignored, or even mistaken for lack. The determination to stay true to oneself, to honor the inner stillness, is rarely rewarded outwardly. Yet, the silent soul carries its own burdens. You may notice tension in moments where you desperately want to speak, but worry if your words are enough. You feel yourself doubting not only your abilities, but your very right to occupy space without explanation. This inner conflict becomes a pattern, striving to be heard under the pressure to perform instead of feeling confident in your simple presence. Sometimes it may feel easier, even safer, to fade into the background, to allow noisier personalities to dominate the room and the moment. Many exceptional, deeply talented people spend years believing their unique gifts will never be appreciated simply because they do not shout them aloud. But the wisdom of the Stoics, and truly of all ancient philosophies concerned with self-discipline and mastery, teaches a liberating truth. Unshakable confidence grows strongest not in the noise, but in the silence that demands nothing from the world and remains unaffected by outside approval. When you learn to root your confidence in being rather than showing, a new kind of peace awakens inside. Imagine yourself as a ship gliding over calm water at night, unseen by the world, but perfectly charting its own course by the stars. This is not a confidence that seeks to overpower. Instead, it quietly radiates direction, assurance, and impact, transforming uncertainty into grounded presence. The transformative solution comes through intentionally cultivating inner stillness and choosing to honor your truth quietly but consistently, no matter who is watching. The core of this practice is self-trust, learning to embrace silence, listen deeply to your intuition, and anchor yourself with the knowledge that you are enough, even before anyone else recognizes it. Routine silence, perhaps through mindful pauses, reflection, or solo walks, becomes a training ground for unshakable confidence. By nurturing this inner fire while the world is still, you teach your mind to respect your presence, to dissolve the need for validation, and to give yourself permission to exist powerfully, even unheard. Over time, this certainty within creates a magnetic pull. People are drawn to a quiet strength they cannot name, but instinctively trust. Your silence speaks for you, conveying self-respect, wisdom, and the deep poise of someone who does not seek approval, but simply is. You become like the steadfast candle, illuminating the darkness not by force, but by the unmistakable clarity of your own unwavering light. Dedicate moments daily to mindful silence. Pause before speaking, trust your presence, and affirm your worth inwardly. As you practice, you'll notice greater calm, stronger self-trust, and a unique, quiet magnetism that gently influences others. Begin today. Next, discover how to embrace rejection as a Stoic gift. Comment your experiences and subscribe for more silent strength and deep growth in our community. Lesson 7. Embracing rejection as a Stoic gift. Picture the blacksmith's forge late at night, the air shimmering around hot embers as cool iron is shaped by repeated blows. What seems harsh and unrelenting is, in truth, the process that molds strength from raw material, each strike an act of purposeful transformation. In life, rejection can feel just like those hammer blows, sudden, loud, and seemingly harsh, echoing in our memory long after the moment has passed. Rejection rattles the spirit and draws sharp questions to the surface. Am I enough? Am I wanted? Am I truly strong? For many, these moments are some of the most defining in their journey toward emotional mastery, because rejection not only reveals hidden fears, but also tests the resilience and discipline we have been developing. The great paradox is that what appears to knock us down first plants the seeds of undefeated inner power. Beneath every rejection, both great and small, lies an inner struggle familiar to almost everyone. A tug-of-war between our hope for acceptance and the pain of being denied. Whether it's not making the cut for a dream job, listening to a door close on a relationship, or simply feeling unheard in a conversation, the sense of exclusion can burn at the core of our self-esteem. Recurring doubts and anxious anticipation of future refusals may lead us to shrink away from future risk, shy away from speaking up, or cling to environments where we always remain comfortable but never truly alive. The fear of rejection can quietly convince even the most hopeful spirits to make themselves smaller, dim their light, or abandon bold ideas. Far too often, past experiences with rejection begin to draw the boundaries of our future, and we become cautious passengers on our life's journey, keeping our gifts out of sight for fear they could be turned away. Yet, if you listen closely, you'll notice a peculiar wisdom, ancient yet startling alive, inside the discomfort of rejection. The Stoics believed rejection is not a curse, but a subtle invitation, a test granted by life to separate what truly belongs to you from what must be released. They understood that every no received from the world is a kind of direction, gently guiding us back to the tasks, dreams, and efforts that align with our true nature. The problem, then, is never the event of rejection itself, but our interpretation of it. Is it an end or a new beginning? Is it a verdict on our worth, or a gentle nudge to grow, adapt, and aim higher? The transformative Stoic solution is to approach each act of rejection as a necessary ritual in the forging of character. Just as the blacksmith trusts the hammer to impart shape and purpose to iron, so too can you learn to welcome rejection as vital to inner strength. By practicing reflection after setbacks, pausing to ask what lessons hide inside your discomfort, what parts of your efforts remain unrefined, and where your authentic path lies, you unlock growth that no easy success can grant. This practice means repeatedly choosing to face disappointment, not with bitterness or defeat, but with curiosity, gratitude, and calm intent. Over time, the habit of embracing rejection builds a grounded confidence. The silent assurance that what is truly for you cannot be lost by a single denial, nor is your spirit's value diminished by another's lack of vision. Viewing rejection as a Stoic gift may not soften the immediate sting, but it transforms your relationship with discomfort and fuels a disciplined soul. The blacksmith's strongest steel is not made by avoiding the hammer, but by repeatedly passing through its fire until resilience becomes second nature. With this mindset, each closed door no longer shrinks your life. Instead, it announces a new possibility, guiding your efforts to where they will burn brightest and stand firmest. When faced with rejection, pause for a moment and reflect on what lesson is hidden within it. Write down your insights and note any redirection that arises. With practice, you'll feel disappointment grow lighter and your resilience deepen. Let every no remind you that your value is forged within, and your spirit cannot be withheld by others. Thank you for joining this journey into mastering rejection and emotional growth through timeless Stoic wisdom. By transforming setbacks into strength, grounding your worth in virtue, and unlocking silent resilience, you've taken powerful steps toward unshakable self-confidence. If you found value here, please like, comment, and subscribe to support our growing Stoic Bloom community.